Hey everyone, welcome back into a Monday night edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather. Hope you had yourself a great Christmas weekend. The weather was fairly cooperative. It chilled down a little bit, but then things are warming up. And you folks in Delta Junction, Healy, beware. We have some really nasty weather coming your way. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. Now our photograph for tonight, this one from Bruce Grossman, who lives down that area, was able to capture the sun rays coming over Mount Hayes. Rhymes, doesn't it? Anyway, a beautiful shot there. Once again, you can see the beams of light coming over across the mountains there. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos at ktvf11.com. Your numbers, today's high 24, the low last night 14 below, current temperatures 15 above, record high 40 in 1982, 62 below in 1961. Joe's just shaking his head. He can't fathom that temperature. Sunrise and sunset, 3 hours and 50 minutes. A gain of 2 minutes from yesterday. That's all you have to say, gain now. On the satellite and radar, you can see one frontal system moving out of the picture, another one working its way up from the south. This one's got a long connection all the way down to the tropics, bringing that warm air, but it's also tied into a jet stream, which is like a garden hose just aimed at the state. That means the winds are going to really be picking up starting tomorrow afternoon and evening and really be blowing just like a hurricane force winds. This doesn't happen very often, but they're going to be there tomorrow, so we've got to keep an eye on that. Elsewhere across the state over southeast Alaska, we have quite a bit of freezing precipitation going on there, and the map you can see showing that it is things have cleared out over southeast Alaska now. 31 degrees at Juneau, and cloudy skies at Ketchikan, also 31. Anchorage looking at partly cloudy skies, 34. They're looking at strong winds developing tomorrow also. Kodiak Island, 41 showers over the southwest part of the state. You can see Cold Bay at 34 degrees, cloudy skies. And then over the west coast, looking at 18 degrees at Nome, but 32 at Bethel. And up on the north slope, just the opposite, 13 below at Barrow. Fort Yukon, 8 degrees below zero. Lower 48 weather, I'm sure you heard about all they've had over the weekend. It has just been a really horrendous amount of weather. It was tornadoes and ice storms and snow, wind, and you can see it's still working its way back up toward the Great Lakes. This is the frontal boundary that caused all the grief for the folks over Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Also Mississippi and Alabama getting in there. 43 fatalities weather-related over the weekend. Not a good Christmas there. Over the Pacific Northwest, getting ready for another frontal boundary coming in. That storm system that was causing all the grief over the weekend is working its way toward the Great Lakes now, so a lot of winter storm warnings across much of this area, looking at quite a bit of snowfall. Could be as much as a foot in the Minneapolis area, and it'll work its way into Chicago too, with a mix of freezing rain and sleet. Just really not nice there. Now the jet stream is going to take a little bit of a different track this next week. As you can see, it's going to bubble up over the western side of the country, which means warmer temperatures, drying out, and then moving across the Great Lakes, pulling down that cold air and bringing some snow showers there. Yes, snow even to Buffalo, New York, finally. Now, as far as our weather fact for today, guess what? In 1955, Anchorage was buried under 17 inches of snow, 17 and a half to be exact. And that's one of their highest amounts ever, as you can well imagine. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. And speaking of the kids are off for vacation, but the class from Salsha Elementary will be joining us next week as our guests. Here's what's going on across the rest of the state. Over the northern sections, mostly cloudy in Barrow tomorrow. A couple inches of snow for Nome. Snow showers expected at Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, looking at the winds. That's the key factor. Wind warnings up. We'll tell you about that in just a little bit. Over the southeast sections, over the Juneau and Ketchikan area. Rain and snow at Juneau, and just showers likely at Ketchikan. Over the southwest part of the state, looking at rain and snow at Cold Bay and Bethel, and rain likely for Kodiak. And more wind expected over the south central regions. Anchorage looking at a high wind warning for tomorrow night. Showers at Homer, and rain and snow in Valdez. Now, talking about that wind, here's what it looks like. High wind warning is in effect for tonight or tomorrow night through Wednesday for Healy and Delta Junction. Dangerous winds could develop tomorrow night with 40 to 60 mile per hour winds with gusts to 80 miles per hour. Obviously, travel is not advised. It's going to be really nasty down there. Blowing and drifting snow, very much a big problem. Tonight, looking at 9 degrees, the overnight low, cloudy skies with above normal temperatures continuing. Tomorrow, 26 for the high. Mostly cloudy, continue very mild temperatures. And the extended forecast right on through New Year's, looking at temperatures way above normal for this time of year. Might even see a few flakes of snow on New Year's Eve day. And then after that, we're looking at temperatures continuing for the next 10 days, way above normal, and no big storms to talk about except for the wind. It's going to be howling tomorrow over the Delta Junction and Healy areas.